You ready? Let's talk to the show. Hi guys, welcome to Healthy Dog Eats with Dr. Kaz, and I'm Kim Picciotti. And this week we are going to be making some snacks. Football season's starting, so my family used to always, my kids would always like what they called tidbit trays. So they'd get out everything, and my son was like all about the soft pretzels, and my daughter with the cheese and the vegetables and all that kind of stuff. And they make a big platter up, put it down in the 1 o'clock game, kind of munch on it. That was our lunch. So I kind of did of course he took his hat off already. In tribute to them, I figured let's start this off, but let's make it healthy, because one thing that a lot of times when you have people over and so forth, your dogs are there. And if you've got friends that bring their dogs, a lot of times stuff is put down on the coffee table or on a table where it's in the dog's reach. Well, how about if we don't have to worry about if the dog accidentally gets something, because everything in this, the dogs can have. We used to have a golden retriever who she would leave everything, but then my mastiffs, and then we had a lab once, forget it, even Cosmos. Well, Cosmos probably would be one that would leave it. He's more of a picky eater unless it has cheese, but he'll be happy today because we are making spinach artichoke dip. Healthy and good for the dogs. We are making crackers, carrot and cheese crackers, and then we are going to make homemade pretzels. So why don't we have a lot going on today, but it's all quick foods. It's all super simple, and we're going to just do quite a bit of multitasking here. We're going to have one thing start going while we get the other thing going, and kind of getting everything rolling there. My aunt always tells me she just doesn't understand how I can make everything ready at the same time at the end of her dinner. So first off, we are going to start with 5 cups of water and 1/3 cup of baking soda. Now we're going to bring this up to a boil, and this is going to be what we're going to coat our pretzels in when they're done, or before we bake them, I should say. So we're going to let that start, and now we are going to start on our cheese and carrot crackers. So once again, we've used our oat flour. So I have a cup of oat flour in here, and they make kind of a little bit of a well. So you can kind of see a little bit of a well, but what we're going to combine. So we're going to place in 2 eggs. We are going to place in, this is 1.5 cups of carrots, 1.5 cups of shredded carrots that's already been cooked. We steamed them, and we squeezed out. Is that a word? Squeezed out? I don't know. We squeezed out all the water of it so we wouldn't have tons of orange crackers, so to speak. So we're going to pop that in. And then we all know that carrots are great for the dogs, great for our eyes, vitamin A, K, C, magnesium, all the kind of stuff, anti-cancer fighting properties, antibacterial properties. So there's a lot of things that carrots are great for. So this cracker that we're making, we're going to be serving warm along with our pretzels, but it's one of those where you can make up some extra and even keep them for dog treats. So we can do that. Cheddar cheese. Now we're putting cheddar cheese in. Now cheddar cheese is the lowest lactose cheese there is. So if you're lactose intolerant, even though you may still be able to have this, once again, make sure that your dog isn't. We always try to do the sheep cheeses and so forth, but there's some things that just this type of cheese works a little bit better. So we're going to mix in a cup of that. So basically that is it, and all we're going to do is we're going to make this into a dough. And unfortunately with dough, I'm the type that I always have to get my hands into it because it just kind of blends better for me that way. But we're going to try to give it as much of a stir here as possible so I don't have to get my hands dirty. But it's inevitable, we will. So we have our oven. Our oven is preheating at 400. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this all mixed up. I knew my hands were going to have to go into it. Get this going here. It just seems to work better because you can knead it better with your hands. Just incorporate all of the ingredients. And look how simple this is. It's only 4 ingredients and all good ingredients for the dog. Sticking on me there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit extra of our oat flour, which, like we said before, the reason that we use oats is because they're gluten-free. And we're going to just knead this up just a little bit here, and then I'm going to show you a real easy trick and a way that we can make these all perfect shapes. And look how quick this is. You're going to see how quick this is to time that we're able to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, bring this back into my bowl, and I'm going to wash my hands real quick, and then I'm going to show you a super easy way to break all this out. We're going to use our parchment paper, and we're actually going to use our pizza equipment for our pizza screen. and our pizza cutter at the same time. I'm losing all my tools down here. All right, let's put that down there. Wipe my hands off real quick. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna divide this. Let's divide it into, let's say 3. And when I divide stuff, look how easy that is. Make a roll, pinch it out, and you really kind of got pretty even things. You don't have to worry about measuring up too much. So now we have 3 little balls. And I should have did that before I washed my hands, but that's all right. Okay, we are going to take a piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to use this, the pizza screen underneath it, just as a guide because I'm going to be putting them on the pizza screen real quickly through that. So we're going to put 3 balls out there, just like that, and then we're going to place another piece of parchment paper over. And this is a super easy way so you don't have to roll your dough. We're just going to put it down. We're going to flatten it, and flatten it, just even pressure. Give it one more time. And put this down here, put this back. Look how easy that was. Super, super easy. And we're going to cook them right on our parchment paper. So now we are going to take our pizza cutter, and we are going to cut them into cookies. And what is this? And maybe we're going to make them, well, we'll make them this way so they're easier to do. So each one is going to get us 8 of them there. So this will end up making 24 crackers, so to speak. And actually, these are really even good for the kids because there's not junk in them, and they have that very similar taste to those, I think they're called Cheez-Its, those little square crackers. I think my granddaughter eats those. All right, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is separate this off like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them, kind of pull them apart a little bit, just because I want them to have a little bit of airflow between them. Remember what we talked about on parchment paper? And parchment paper adds moisture. And with crackers, obviously, I want them to be a little bit more crispier. So I don't want to keep them together as much, but yet I don't want them sticking on my pizza pan, pizza peel. Pizza peel is the thing that you use to take it out of the oven, not the thing that you put on here. So we're just going to do this and get them going. These all apart. Well, while I finish this and then wash up my hands and get ready to make our pretzels, why don't you go watch the Empower Puppy Bite? Greeting new people. That's often hard for them and also hard for your guests and new people coming in, because guests coming in, they often want to, oh, what a cute puppy, and they'll reach over your puppy's head. But guess what? Your puppy can't see your hand coming, and oftentimes will shy away. Or if you get a puppy that's overly exuberant, they're going to go charging that person and jumping all over that person because they're so excited to see them. So teach your puppy how to greet people. Proper manners is very, very important. Be patient. Tell them what you expect them to do. And just love them. And that's just another Empower Puppy Bite. Okay guys, we are back and our water is just about ready for our pretzels. So we're going to go ahead and get those mixed up. I have oat flour and baking soda in there. We have baking soda in there. You can make pretzels a couple different ways. A lot of people make pretzels with yeast. However, yeast dough can actually kill your dog. So that's one of the highest times. Christmas time and Easter time is the highest time people get calls because the dogs have stole cookie dough or something that's got yeast in it off the counter. And what happens is the gases in their belly kind of blow up and they turn to like I think it's called ethanol toxicosis. That can actually kill them. So we're not making anything here with yeast. We're using Greek yogurt and honey, which Greek yogurt is, as we all know, all yogurts aren't created equal also, so make sure that you read your labels of what you're actually getting. Helps with digestion, helps if, you know, they've got the poops, helps upset bellies, helps the immune system. I mean, there's a lot of different things. So we had our 3/4 of a cup of our Greek yogurt and we had 2 tablespoons of honey. Now, honey is another thing that dogs can have, but they cannot have raw honey. Older dogs can have raw honey, but puppies cannot have raw honey, just like children cannot have raw honey, because what happens is it produces botulism spores, so we don't want that. So I'm gonna mix this up, and this dough now, we want to be a little bit more moist than we wanted our cracker dough to be, because we need to be able to roll it into pretzel form so you can see the moisture from having the yogurt and the honey in there. And like I said, it's just all that is. I'm not even putting any salt in this. We are going to put a little bit of salt on top of them, not much. And you can even make some for salt for you guys and then some for, without salt for the dogs because they really don't need that as well. And it'll be all good. So let's bring all this together. We need to lightly flour our surface. And I think this is going to make about 7 or 8 pretzels, but we'll see what we can get out because we need to fit them all on that one pan there so it fits in our oven. Okay, so all right, so I'm just going to make them into logs then. So we're just going to kind of get them going down. And you want to kind of, as you're going and rolling, you're going to kind of want to pull out. You're going to want to go from your center and get that out, just like that. We want them about 12 inches long there, maybe a little bit longer, maybe that's about 14. All right, and then we're gonna take it over, we're gonna twist, and there you have your pretzel, okay? All right, so what we're going to do now is we're gonna bring this down, and we're gonna take our pretzel, and we're just gonna put it on our spoon, just like that. Take it, I'm going to dip it right under the water, kind of let it go off a minute, and basically that's where we're sealing it. We're going to take it back out, and we're going to place it on our pan. Because we're kind of squishing them on here to get them so they're all on the pan anyway. All right, this will be our 2 more, and we'll be all set. What I'm going to do is I'm going to brush them with some egg. Throw just a little bit of salt, of course, sea salt on a little bit. Pop them in the oven with our carrot crackers, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Our pretzels are in. Look how wonderful our carrot crackers look. They're kind of cooling just a little bit. We're going to serve those at room temperature along with our spinach artichoke dip, which we're going to start right now. This stuff kind of amazes me. I think it's just, this is one full bag of spinach. Isn't that a riot? I mean, it was a 10-ounce bag, which I saved out 2 ounces. Now that's 2 ounces of spinach. This is basically 8 ounces of spinach after it's cooked. So we just steamed it in a little bit of water and we chopped it up just a little bit. And we are going to be using chickpeas or garbanzo beans. And with that, you want to make sure if you don't have the fresh, or if you're not basically making the beans from dry, soaking them overnight and cooking, and you are using the canned ones, that's fine. Just make sure you rinse them well because there's a lot of salt content into them. So we rinsed them and we used 3/4 cup out of the can. And then we actually just got another can as well with it. And we made some chickpea peanuts. So this is going to go on our party platter too. These take about 15 minutes to cook. They're just tossed with a little bit of olive oil, oregano, basil, my traditional standards, and we just roasted those off. So those are going to go on our party platter as well. So that's a great thing to do with the leftover since you don't need the full can of it. So we're just going to go ahead and get started here so we can get this in the oven because it doesn't take long for this to cook at all. Actually, our pretzels are probably being done around the same time. So we're going to take our 3/4 cup of chickpeas and we're going to put them in the food processor. And we are going to add in 2 tablespoons full of Nufaddle cheese. Now I chose Nufaddle because it's obviously lower in fat and we're making this much more healthy. Those of you who have ever made spinach artichoke dip before, you know how much mozzarella cheese goes in and the full log of cream cheese that goes in and all the other kind of stuff. So we've got it so it's super, super healthy. So we're going to put that 2 tablespoons in and then we're going to put about 1 tablespoon of olive oil in. And we're going to pop this on the food processor. So give me a minute for the sound here. All right, we're going to do that. And then we are going to put in our spinach. And this I'm just going to pulse because I want to kind of leave it so it's a little bit chunky too, not just totally where I turn everything green. Or if you want it that way, you can turn everything green and have a green dip. And we all know how wonderful the spinach is for our dogs and for us. Did you know that they say that's actually one of the #1 cancer-fighting vegetables for us, the spinach? So it is for them. But a lot of people worry about the oxalates with the spinach. But you have to eat literally so much of it. But once again, you want to make sure that it's cooked for your dog, and because that's so much better. You don't want to boil it because boiling takes out a lot of the nutrients. So we want to steam it. Next thing we're going to add is our artichokes, which these are another super antibacterial, it boosts the immune system, has folate and fiber and all the kind of great stuff that just works wonderful on our dog's system and on our system. I mean, you think about, we're not really sure what's in that kibble, how it's baked and extruded. Look how healthy we're cooking. I mean, you know what's in your dog's food when you're doing this kind of stuff. And like I said, these aren't, you know, meal replacements or balanced. This is 1 cup of the artichoke hearts as well. These aren't, you know, meal replacements. All this is stuff that you can share with your dog and not worry about, like I said, not worry about the dog getting it off the coffee table at your party. So we're going to stir that in, and then we're going to put in about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to reserve a little bit for the topping to be able to put. I think I had a little bit more than 1/2 cup in there, so I put some extra for the topping when we want to bake that off. But look how simple this is. I mean, all these things that we're making today are super, super quick, as you can see. We're going to mix all this up. And then all we're going to do is we're going to pop it in our pan. It makes a lot too. Look how much of dip we have. This is actually really good too if you stuff it in chicken breasts. So anything left over, you can always repurpose it and use it for another dinner. Just flatten out some chicken breasts, and then, we don't even need all this cheese. Flatten out some chicken breasts, roll it up. You can even fold it over, put some toothpicks in it, give it a little egg wash, another little, maybe some panko breadcrumbs on top, and it's awesome. I'm going to put this in the oven right now. We're going to let it go. So go watch another Empower Puppy Bite, and then come on back and share some pretzels and crackers. And oh, wait till you see, I've got some fruit, or not fruit, some vegetables I chopped up. I made some radish roses for our platter. We're all going to be ready. Just see you in a minute. One of the things that we teach here at Training Canines is we teach off-leash obedience first, or I should say off-leash walking, because we teach our dogs and their puppies to want to be able to stay with us and stay right by our side, kind of go off a little bit but come back. We do put a leash on them and let them drag it for safety purposes. So if you are going to continue that or do want to start training your dog to be off-leash, please remember safety first. Take note where you are, make sure there's no cars, make sure that there's not a way that the dog can get hurt, and always keep that leash on them, because it's one of those where it's just easier to grab than a dog that would get spooked on something or run after a squirrel or see something unforeseen. It only takes one time for them to get hurt, and we want to avoid it. Remember, proactive, not reactive. And that's just another Empower Puppy Bite. Welcome back, guys. I've got the platter all together. Our spinach artichoke dip is ready to come out of the oven, so we're going to get that out, and we're going to talk just a little bit more. One thing else I wanted to bring up this week. Look how, first, not to interrupt, but here, look how nice that looks. Wonderful. And not even nowhere near the calories. So what we're going to do is we're going to put into our center here of our platter. And you see how much, like I said, it made. So depending on your party, you've got some leftover for yourself for another dinner, or you've got it where you can do it and stuff that chicken breast, like I said. But I'm going to set this down here for a second because I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about using some of the things that we did and the grains and so forth. Chickpeas are awesome for the dogs. We use the oat flour, and excuse me one second. We're going to have to unplug this here, otherwise we're going to end up beeping forever. Nonetheless, there's a lot of controversy going on right now. One thing that I'm finding on the internet is everything that people are talking about. Do I go grain-free? Do I not go grain-free? They're saying it's causing heart problems by going the grain-free food into the dogs. There's a lot of stuff about this, guys. Do your research. They're saying that depleting the taurine levels. You need to read between the lines. You need to make sure that you're getting the right information. Once again, we all know how marketing gets. something that crossed my mind is this is a marketing ploy to get people to come back to grain foods. It's one thing that they're saying this. Grain-free, there's nothing wrong with grain-free foods. The problem that they're finding and the ingredient that they're looking to be the problem is beet pulp. Now that's something that you can't get. That doesn't mean beets are bad for dogs. Beets are great for dogs. It's a byproduct of what the food industry uses. And one article that I read was saying that beet pulp is the culprit, not the legumes and not all the, the different things like that. So the stuff is safe. But if you're worried about it, you want an easy fix, go grab a can of sardines. Give your dog a sardine, and you'll put the taurine levels right back into your dog. So we're going to plate this all up. Give Cosmos a try. Once again, our recipes are on empoweredpups.com. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see. Hope you enjoyed the football platter, party platter. It actually came out really great. So we're going to enjoy eating it for lunch, and you have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Right, Cosmos? Say bye-bye. That's what you got left. You ate all the stuff we made and not the stuff we didn't.